All right, so welcome back, Elaine, to the Zoom room for another Cultivating Go live session. Let's have a look at today's quote to kick it off. So I'll just share my screen on that. You can read the quote for us, which will lead us nicely into today's lesson 151, which is another original lesson. So you can read that short quote. This is from Maximus, the main character in the movie Gladiator. If you've seen that movie, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. What we do in life echoes in eternity. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. Doing life echoes in eternity. So our life is almost a preparation for eternity, and it echoes in eternity. It's kind of saying there's this other dimension to our lives, and our lives need to have that dimension to them. That brings in another awareness, another reality that adds a different dimension to one's life. If you don't have the eternal perspective and you just think you're a body living in time and inevitably going to die, then your life becomes very shallow and quite meaningless. And you seek for meaning in the meaningless, which the ego is always trying to do, and struggle to find it. You'll never find it. So the context of this was Maximus, who was the Roman general, was the lead character in the movie Gladiator. Did you ever watch it?
I think I did, yes, with
Russell Crowe.
yes, I think I did, yes.
Yeah. 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It came out in
Yeah, I'm
2003 or
sure I
4.
did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So he was forced by betrayal to become a gladiator, and then he finds his way back to Rome, and it's kind of a hero's journey story. But he has character and he has integrity. He's a man of honor rather than you see the ego in the emperor is taken over from Marcus Aurelius, in fact, who was a very famous, very wise Roman emperor. He featured at the beginning of that movie, and then his successor did not have the same wisdom. He saw Maximus as a threat, and he wanted to take him out. So that's the setting of the story. And it's really a lovely reminder that whatever we do in this illusory world only matters because it takes us closer to or further away from eternity, which is just another name for the eternal transcendent reality that the perennial philosophy and every great spiritual teacher and teaching throughout history has pointed to. So eternity is the other world, the other reality. When you start to become continuously conscious that every thought you have and every choice you make is an echo in eternity, you'll also start to see that this eternal reality is reflected everywhere and in everything right now, which is the closest approximation to eternity we can experience in this world. So right now, you have access to eternity. It's right here, right now, and it never has been anywhere else. It's ever present. And this is why the now is also foundational in all these spiritual teachings. Because the now, if you fully come into right here, right now, with no thoughts of past or future, then eternity comes into your life. And what you do in this life echoes in eternity, because the now is your access to that eternity. So it's like it's the portal to then communicate with this other reality through the now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this eternal reality is then everywhere and in everything right now, if you become aware of it.
Yeah.
Eternity is here now. It's never gone anywhere. It's always been here now. It's like the most obvious secret in the world. Eternity is right here, right now, in this very moment, and in every moment. It's never gone anywhere. We have never been separate from that. It's only in our deluded minds, in our awareness, that we've separated ourselves from it. But actually, it's always been there. We just have to access that in our own awareness. And that's where the spiritual practices come in, because they open you up to the experience of eternity in the now. That's, in fact, the whole point of spiritual practice. You come in to this expanded awareness right here, right now, not sometime in the future or the past. You do it right now and you get the experience right now. So today's mind training lesson from the course, the workbook, is designed to help you experience this enlightened state of eternity consciousness, or in our alternative language, pure formless awareness of perfect love in each wholly aware moment. So if you want to read that, let's dive into the lesson, shall we?
Yeah. All things are echoes of the voice for God. Oops.
Just wait to learn. I'm just going to, I'll bring it up actually in the, bring it up in here, where we, lesson 51. Is it gone? Just bring it up. Just closed it for some reason. Lesson 51. Okay, there we go. So all things are echoes of the voice for God. Alternatively,
everything echoes the voice for perfect loving awareness.
Yeah. Translation: all things are echoes of the voice for God. Everything echoes the voice for perfect loving awareness. So what he's talking about here is the enlightened state. If you see everything as an echo, as a reflection, whatever language you want to use, of this deeper awareness, then you're living in this loving awareness. This loving awareness is with you always and helping you to perceive everything in this world correctly. And you live in the awakened or enlightened states that masters like Yeshua have attained. You see the world as an extension of loving awareness. That's the real world. Okay, so let's read it. I think it's reading in the alternative. There's not much to translate. So no one can judge on partial evidence.
No one can judge on partial evidence. That is not judgment. It is merely an opinion based on ignorance and doubt. Its seeming certainty is only a cloak for the uncertainty it conceals. It needs irrational defense because it is irrational. And its defense seems strong, convincing, and without a doubt because of all the doubting underneath. It's just saying we can't judge on just a little bit of evidence, because that's not judgment. It's just merely an opinion which is based on ignorance and doubt.
Yeah.
It's irrational. Yeah, it's totally irrational, and And its defense does seem strong and convincing, without a doubt, but because of the doubting underneath.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, give you a good example of this, the Anita Mojani, remember we talked about it a few days ago,
Oh, yes,
and
yes.
her really miraculous healing. It was profoundly transformational and clearly something completely out of the ordinary that was related to a near-death experience. And she knew that. Anyone with any spiritual inclination knows that. But her oncologist was like, no, the chemotherapy kicked in at an advanced stage, even though organs are shutting down. And he was probably one of the doctors saying, your tickets, that's it. You're out of here. Then you find some seemingly rational defense for what actually just is totally irrational. Needs irrational defense because it is irrational. Like he's defending an irrational system, and it doesn't make any sense if you really look at it. His defense seems strong, convincing without a doubt, because of all the doubting underneath. And so I remember reading commentary on her near-death experience, and someone said something like, "Well, this is dangerous. This kind of approach is potentially dangerous." And you're like, "Well, how's it dangerous? Her life got saved. She
It is.
she was healed, and she's written a book to inspire others who potentially facing cancer, and give them hope that there's maybe another way, that they don't just have to die, go through the pain and suffering of chemo, and also spiritually, even those without cancer. It's an inspiring story because she's accessed another reality. She's accessed eternity, and has come back from that, and given us a glimpse of that. I mean, how is that dangerous?
No, it's
But the
well,
ego
it's
says this is
quite
dangerous.
miraculous,
Because of all the doubting underneath, because the ego's thought system is based on lies and deceptions.
Which we get it
and
all
so
the
it
time,
actually
don't we?
doubts itself, but it doesn't want to admit that. So that these kinds of people, they don't want to really look at things like a miraculous healing like Anita Mojani had. They find it very threatening because it challenges their entire thought system. And so then they have to irrationally defend against it because they're irrationally defending their entire thought system and their separate self against the apparent threat of the truth. And that's why you see so much, completely irrational, bonkers stuff that happens in this world. Like when I read what that I said, that's just crazy. I'm like, how can you, like anyone with any common sense believe that? Obviously, it's not going to be the chemotherapy. She'd stopped that weeks before. So like, and her organs are shutting down. I mean, of course it's not that. How can you be so blind as to deny the obvious truth that she had a profound near-death experience, and it's her mind, a profound transformation in mind, which is described in detail in her book, that's healed her body? How can you be so blind as not to see that? But
it
none
happens
so
even in the
blind as those who
ordinary
do not want to see.
But it happens with even the ordinary things. It's all like you must get a mammogram or a bowel test because you're now over 60, and it's nuts. It's all similar. Otherwise, you could die, and it's just
exactly. And lesson 136, we did it a couple of weeks ago. Sickness is a defense against the truth. That's what it's there for, to defend against the truth and create this irrational defense system to perpetuate the ego's false identity. And that's what it's being used for in the world.
I think the moral of this is just don't get involved with their arguments. Even, do you remember there was the lady, with one of Sally's members, it said, "Oh, the course, no, don't, it actually killed somebody. Somebody died." And I thought, gosh, that's a sweeping statement. But I just didn't get involved. I thought, how can you say such a thing? Obviously, the woman had decided that she didn't take the chemo. She decided not to. but
Yeah.
she did
Yeah.
finally pass
Yeah.
away. But I think you rightly
Mm.
said, that was her time.
Yeah. So, that's not a failure, because we're all going to die anyway. But maybe she died in a much more peaceful way and state than she would have,
Yeah,
going through all that chemo, and generally people die anyway.
she obviously
95.
loved the course. Yeah, but
Yeah.
obviously it
So,
depends on.
she hopefully had a
Yeah,
peaceful transition. And then
yeah.
she was free of her body. Well, that's not a failure if you really
No,
understand the
no.
course. But
Mm.
evidently that lady didn't understand the course.
No, so yeah,
You
needless to
couldn't
say,
make a comment like that if you really understood it.
yeah, well, we just it fizzled out. We
Mm.
just didn't gel, if you know what I mean, in
Yeah.
our ways. Yeah,
Mm.
so that didn't last 5 minutes.
Mm.
Well, yeah, because it's
Okay.
every day you're getting these sort of doubts and, oh, you must do this or you do that, but all you can see is suffering.
Mm. Yeah. And he's
So you
really
can't.
saying in this lesson, you got to question all of it.
Mm, yeah.
Read number 2.
Oh, yeah. I do not seem to doubt the world I see. I do not really question what is shown me through the body's eyes, nor do I ask why I believe it, even though I learned a long time ago that my senses do deceive me, that I believe them to be the last detail which they report is even stranger when I pause to recollect how frequently they have been faulty witnesses indeed. Why, oh, excuse me, why would I trust them so implicitly? Why accept because of the underlying doubt which I want to hide with a show of certainty? So it's
Mm.
just saying that we just seem to believe in everything that we were told. We don't doubt the
Mm.
world we see.
Mm.
We don't question what our body's eyes are showing us. We just seem to go along with it.
Mm.
And what's that? That I believe them to be the last detail that they report is even a
Mm.
stranger when I pause to recollect how frequently they have been faulty witnesses indeed. Yeah, like just what we've been talking about. You must get that mammogram, or you must get this, or that, or
Yeah.
the other test. It goes on.
It's all part of a system of thought that makes this world, the body, your separate identity
Mm,
in the world real. We've got to see that.
yeah.
And why would I trust all of that so implicitly? We put our faith in these illusions and they fail us.
Mm,
Well, you think the medical system's going to keep you alive forever? Of course it's not.
mm.
I mean, I'm seeing that with my dad.
Yeah, yeah.
So various tests and treatments, like let it go, man. He's
Mm,
end of life stage. Just let him go. What are you
of
trying to keep
course.
the body alive for?
Mm,
But it's part of that thought system of, okay, well, at all costs, we've got to keep this body alive because the body is the reality. And without the body, you have no existence. It's
it's
crazy.
sad.
It's insane.
It is
And it
sad.
causes
Well,
so
I
much
watched my
pain
mother. I watched
and
my mother.
suffering.
Yeah, so where she died in 2020. And the suffering before
Mm.
that was just
Yeah.
immense.
It's like,
All the
why?
tablets they were giving her, and oh, it was
Yeah.
just awful to watch.
For what purpose? Did it keep
Yeah,
her alive any longer? Like
no,
when it's someone's time, it's someone's time. It's like, well, what are you
yeah,
trying to do?
she's really suffered. Well,
Yeah.
in the finish, obviously, she, obviously got the dementia, but
Yeah.
she really did suffer, yeah, with all the pills
And
and,
and, and,
yeah,
and so
tests.
why put yourself through that?
Yeah,
Why not just go, well, I'll just be quiet and calm and peaceful and
the
allow this
transition.
process to happen. Yeah, it's a peaceful
Yeah,
transition. We're all going to die. So if it's my time, and you kind
yeah,
of think people kind of know when it's their time, and you're like, okay, well, why am I fighting that? Why am I resisting that? Just
mm,
let it
yeah,
happen, and let me be as surely at that point, peace is more important than ever. You don't want to go in
mm.
a state of
With all these
my
horrible
peace is
chemicals.
disturbed, and I'm mentally disturbed, and you want to be in a peaceful state of mind when you go.
Yeah.
So that should become the priority. But the medical system doesn't see it that way, because
No.
the paradigm if you deny eternity, if you deny the eternal reality, and your whole thought system is based on the falsity that this world is it. The body is reality, the world is reality, and this world is the only reality there is. And of course, you're going to be, the system is going to be engineered accordingly, and it's going to make all kinds of mistakes, spiritually mistakes, and that can cause a lot of suffering for people.
Yeah.
But it's still a choice. We don't have to believe that system. It's up to us whether we believe it or not.
Yeah. I just think there's a balance. I'm not saying don't get your test, but it's just way over the top, I find. It's scaremongering. Yeah. It's making us sort of not empowered or anything. We're like having to rely on it, and that's the bit that I find doesn't feel right. But if, say, for example, you've got a lump, then yes, of course, go and get it tested, of course. But it seems to be OTT. They really drum it into you. You must, and everybody's gets scared,
fear, isn't it? The way they work is fear, because that gets people to comply. Oh, but if you don't do what we say, you could die. And then if you identify with a separate self, that's the end of the story. Oh no, I've got to do everything I can to avoid death, even though it's inevitable. And then of course you buy into the system, and you follow their guidance. Of course, there's a business model behind it. They make money from this, lots of money. So you've got to understand where it's coming from, and have the ability to say no. I don't buy into that. I can choose to do it differently.
Listening to you, I think it's just listening to your intuition.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing. Listening in, that will guide you as to what to do. Yeah,
exactly. So if medical treatment is needed, then
yes,
you'll
of
be funded,
course.
and sometimes it's essential. I mean, I 6 months ago, 8 months ago, and I ripped my shin open.
I remember,
I needed to go to A&E. I need to get it
Mm.
sorted out. It was bleeding, and it needed to be
bleed to
patched
death,
up. And okay, yes, okay. I'm not like, oh well, God will heal this. No, like let's take sense of it. But then don't buy into the fear. I remember when I went to see the doctor and it got a bit infected. He said, "Oh, well, we'll just cut here." He was like, "I'm like, what? No, we'll just amputate here." I'm like, "What? You're going to be kidding me?" And I
Is that what he
noticed,
said?
yeah. And because I was like, "Oh, well, I don't really like antibiotics." He's like, "Well, your choice, but if it gets infected, you could lose your leg, and we'll just cut it there."
Oh no.
Whoa, but you see how it works. It was so interesting. I was like,
Yes.
wow, okay. So talk about fear, get you to comply.
They know how to do it. You find if you
And
go
that's
to
how the
doctors,
system works.
they don't empower you. That's the thing. Whereas if you go to like a holistic, maybe then you feel more empowered because you can take charge yourself. Yeah.
Well, it's a system. I mean, if you disempower people and they will do what you tell them to do, then you can sell them stuff, can't you? You can prescribe stuff, you can give them stuff, and you can make money from that. And so, that's the way the system's been designed. Let's be honest about it. It's a sickness system, and it's designed to disempower people so that they will just listen to the doctor, and they'll pay them the money that for the drugs or whatever. And that's that's a huge business model. Massive money is made that way. So that system, which is a business system, doesn't have any incentive to empower people. Let's be honest about it. Why would they? Empower you means that you have choice. You question. You don't necessarily just do what the doctor tells you. You make your own choice and your own decisions. Well, that might mean that you don't do what they want you to do, which means they lose revenue. So follow the money. I mean, you follow any system like that. You look at the causation behind it. Is it coming from the ego or the Holy Spirit? and then you follow the money, and it's not difficult to work out what's actually going on. And yet, sadly, many, the majority of people haven't. They're just like sheep, and they just follow. Oh well, I'll just do that because the doctor says. Well, how do you know the doctor's wrong? How do you know that the whole system is wrong? Isn't flawed and wrong? But that's too scary for people to think about. You see, if you question it and you go, well, what happens if they're all wrong? It's too overwhelming for a lot of people to cope with, because they're like, well, then maybe all of it's wrong. But you see how it leads to awakening? Well, if that system's wrong, maybe the whole thing's wrong. All of it's wrong, you see? And so it leads you to the awakening, to the knowledge that the entire world is upside down and insane. If you start to entertain these, doubt the ego system. Okay, so let's crack on, shall we? Number 3, how can I judge?
Yeah. How can I judge? My judgment rests upon the witness that my senses offer me. Yet there was never a falser witness than this. But how else do I judge the world I perceive? I place a pathetic faith in what my eyes and ears report. I think my fingers touch reality and close upon the truth. This is awareness, that I understand and think more real than what is witnessed by the eternal voice for perfect love's life, perfect loving awareness itself.
Yeah, so what's he saying here?
Sorry, I got distracted there. The cat's just peed on the thing again. Sorry.
Okay.
He's a nightmare. He does it when my back's turned.
All right.
They've definitely got ego. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So how can I judge? Well, because we're judging from rests on these witnesses, and these are never a false witness.
Our senses judge the world. How do we judge the world? Well, our senses give us the sensory data, and then we judge that data, and that's our perception. So I've seen this, I've heard this, I've felt it, touched it, tasted it, and now I judge based on that. You're saying, but if you're in a false world, your senses are designed to trick you. They're tricking your mind into believing that the world is real. I think my fingers touch reality and close upon the truth, when actually there's nothing there. What you're living in is a dream world, and there's nothing actually really there. You just think it's there. So I think that this is more real than what is witnessed to by the eternal voice for perfect loving awareness itself. So we put our faith in the illusion rather than the truth, and that's what all these systems get us to do. The world systems are set up by the ego, and they're designed to make us have faith in the ego by buying into those systems. It's all very, very cunningly done, because we don't know what we're doing. It's only when you start to go through this kind of mind training that you start to wake up to what's really happening, what's really going on in the world. But usually there's an awareness. I mean, from a young age, I questioned everything. I was like, I don't buy this. I don't understand why the world works the way it is, and I wanted to understand more deeply. So I think you have to have that sort of questioning mindset, and then that ability to and willingness to question opens you up to a spiritual path. Whereas, if you just accept the status quo and you go, well, that's it, that's reality, and I'm never going to question it, then there's no opening. There's no opening for the Holy Spirit to come into your mind and help you to start awakening. Okay, so basically let go of your judgment based on your physical senses, is what that's saying, because these are false witnesses of speaking for the ego.
You said
Number
your
four.
physical senses. You mean like your hearing, seeing, touch?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Saying don't
So
trust those.
so what about me smelling the cat's pee? Is that a false witness?
Well, yeah, ultimately, because you're in a dream. So what's
Mm,
happened in the dream isn't reality. It's part of the dream. Um, so you'll still do that, but it's the interpretation of those witnesses. You see, that's the problem. This is where
mm,
perception comes in. So, okay, you smell the cat's wee, you see it. Then your mind can go, oh my God, the cat's done it again. Isn't the
yeah,
cat so naughty? I get angry, I get upset. How am I going to stop this in future? And you feel emotion arising. And what you've
that's
done
right.
then is you've given the senses and the false witness that they've given you the power to affect you mentally and emotionally and effectively attack yourself, your higher self, or true awareness. Because in all of those thoughts and emotions, you are once again denying your true self and pure formless awareness of perfect love and believing in the ego, a separate self that can be offended easily, that gets upset by things like this, that needs to
Hmm.
take defensive action to prevent it happening again. And on and on the story goes. The story of Elaine, the separate self, now having to deal with the cat that's peed again. And the ego does this, it sets you up for this precisely to get that ego reaction. Do you understand that?
Hmm. Yeah, it's doing
That's
its
why the
best.
cat's peeing. Oh, okay,
It's
well, yeah.
amazing.
So we'll,
Yeah, I
we'll,
mean, I
we'll,
can't
we'll
believe how he's done
okay.
it actually, because I've sort of kept a close eye on him. He's obviously, I must have gone to the toilet or something, and he's
Mm,
thought, God, it's bizarre. Anyway, so
yeah.
but there's still what the right thing to do is just to smell it and then just put it in the washing machine, I suppose, rather than react.
Yeah.
Because you
Don't,
can't just
watch
leave
your
it.
mental and emotional reactions and go,
Yeah, you leave. Yeah,
yeah, so you take the action. Okay, well, it needs to be cleaned and
yeah. Oh,
washed.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so do that. But can you just do that, or is there a whole story? Oh my God, the cat's done it again. I can't
yeah. It
believe
can
this.
go down the
What's
road. Yes.
happening? And
Yeah,
then you complain, and then you tell everyone
yeah.
else the story. I mean, this is what people do, isn't it? You
Yes, yeah.
just
No, no. Yes, I do. Yes, I'm guilty
cat's
of
done
that.
it again. And then the
Hmm.
person listens and, oh, boy, shame, what you're going to do about it now. You become a victim. And all that does is energizes the ego, the sense of a separate self. Is
Mm-hmm.
energized through the story of the cat peeing again on your pillow or whatever. And it's
Yeah, the
being used
sofa.
to fit your
Mm.
ego's identity. So we've got to be very vigilant and just see the game. Go, okay, I get it. I see what the ego is trying to do here. So I'm not
Yeah,
going to play the. I'll just sort it out and I'll do it in a non-reactive way. I'll clean up the
yeah.
mess, put it in the wash, end
That's it.
off. The
Yeah,
cat,
yeah.
the cat peed on the facts of the matter is the cat peed on the cushion or wherever it did it for the third time, right? That's a fact.
Yeah.
The interpretation is, oh my God, isn't that terrible? Isn't that terrible? Oh, how are we going to stop this in future? Or why is this
Hmm.
happening to me? Why am I so unlucky? The cat, and so on. And then the story
Yeah.
builds up the event.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fact, cat peed on the thing again. Fact, I can wash it. And I can clean the mess so it
And
doesn't
just get on
smell.
with it.
End off,
Okay.
right? Because there
Yeah.
needs to be a
No,
whole
it's true.
story about it. Yeah.
It's
So and
true. Yeah.
that's the way to deal
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
with
Because
any
before,
chat.
yeah, well, I was even thinking, oh, I'm going to get him rehomed, but I mean, that's obviously not an option. But when you're in an angered state,
Yeah. Then
yeah,
you react and go, well, I've got to get him rehomed because I can't have
yeah.
this.
I mean, I would do that,
But
but yeah,
actually, it's you. See, the
needs
responsibility is
rehomed.
cat. It's you.
It
Cat's a
is.
projection of you, and the ego's using the cat to test you. So
Mm.
you let it go and you don't react, then the cat's going to stop peeing.
Okay, I
That's
shall
how it
try
works.
that. I'll let you know if it
Yeah,
works.
that's how it works. Because there's no need for the
Right.
cat. You really let it go, and that no longer triggers you, the ego can't use that to trigger you. So it won't use it anymore. You'll have let it go, once and for all. But as long as it still triggers you, the ego's like, okay, well, that's how we can get a reaction out of Elaine. So let's get the cat to pee. And then it tells the cat to go and pee. And that's how it works.
It's
It's
bizarre.
connected to you. You see? It's a projection of your own mind.
Yeah.
So your ability to not react, i.e. let it go, then determines the future outcome.
Yeah.
That's how it works. So what have you got to lose? But do that. Just drop it and go, okay, here's what it is. I'll just deal with it in a very non-reactive, unemotional way, and not allow this to, disturb my peace. Because that's what it's for. The ego is designed it to do that. And so then in that situation, you're basically denying the causation of the ego. You're saying, well, there's no effect, so there's no cause. So I've just denied the ego again in my mind on quite a profound, deep level. When I'm tested, it's much harder to do it when you test it than theoretically and intellectually, isn't it? You could say, well, yeah, theoretically I could forgive the cat if that happened. But when it's actually happened and you're feeling that irritation and that upset,
or when it's in its full flow, yes. Yeah.
That's when it's powerful, because that's when you are meeting the ego, head on, and you're undoing it in the moment, and you're undoing that whole movement of the mind, the thoughts and the emotions, and you weaken it then when you're able to address it in the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can this be judgment? Well, where are we? We've done number 4, haven't we?
Yeah.
Have we done number 4?
Yeah. Well, I did it when I was obviously had the cat pee thing, didn't I?
Yeah.
But I didn't
Or was it number
concentrate so
3?
well. Oh, was it 3? Was it? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe it. Yeah.
Can this be
okay.
judgment?
Oh, can this be judgment? I have often been urged to refrain from judging, not because it is right to be withheld from me. I cannot judge. I can merely believe the belief in separation's judgments, all of which are false. It guides my senses carefully to prove how weak I am, how helpless and afraid, how apprehensive of just punishment, how tainted with sin, and how wretched in my guilt. So it's just saying that this judgment that's coming from our separate self is false. So we believe in it, and this guides our senses. So making us weak and helpless and afraid. And so what it's saying is how tainted with sin and how wretched in our guilt being in this separate self. And it's
we look at all these systems that the ego has invented. They all do this. They all disempower you. It's about fear. It's about guilt. And they all make the just punishment, which often comes through the sickness, seemingly real. And spiritually, that's what's happening. Okay, number 5.
This thing it speaks of and wants to defend, it tells me, is myself. And I believe that this is so with stubborn certainty. Yet underneath remains the hidden doubt that it does not believe what it shows me as reality with such conviction. It is itself alone that it condemns. It is within itself, it perceives the guilt. It is its own despair it perceives in me. So it's
Okay,
the thing
thoughts on
it
that?
speaks, well, it's the thing it speaks of and wants to defend. It's telling me it's myself. And I believe this with stubborn certainty. But underneath the hidden doubt, it shows me as reality with such conviction.
It's actually itself, it's condemning. Its own despair it perceives in me. So just a false idea, a false thought system plays out in our minds. It seems to be us, because that's what it's trying to convince us of. But Yeshua's teaching us it's not you. None of these thoughts and emotions are you at all. So do not hear its voice. I will not say listen. I will not listen to its voice. And read number 6.
I will not listen to its voice. The witnesses it sends to prove to me its evil is my own or false, and speak with certainty of what they do not know. My faith in them is blind because I do not want to share the doubts its master cannot completely vanish. I believe that to doubt its messengers is to doubt myself. So this is sort of, well, we're just stuck in this thought system of doubts, and we believe that to doubt its messengers is to doubt ourselves, and our faith is blind. It's asking us not to listen to this voice because the witnesses it sends to prove its evil is my own false, and speak with certainty what they do not know. Yeah, so it's
The whole thing's a setup, is what he's saying. We've been set up to be upset by the ego continuously. He's saying just don't listen to it. It's insane. It's leading you in the wrong direction. It wants to kill you. Why would you listen to that as a guide? Makes no sense. Okay, so number 7, yet I must learn.
Yet I must learn that to doubt their evidence will clear the way to recognize myself, and let the voice for perfect love alone be judge of what is worthy of my own belief. It will not tell me that I should judge my companions by what my eyes see in them, nor what their body's mouth says to my ears, nor what the touch of my fingers report of them. It does not pay attention to such fake witnesses which merely bear false witness to perfect love's extension. It recognizes only what perfect loving awareness loves, and in the wholly true awareness of what it perceives, all the belief in separation's dreams of what I am vanish before the splendor it perceives.
Okay.
It's just saying that it will not, it will not tell me that I should not judge my companions by what my eyes and ears and mouth and fingers report of them. It doesn't pay any attention to these fake witnesses because they're false. They're false witnesses to the perfect love's extension. So it only recognizes the perfect loving awareness and the wholly true awareness. So all the belief in separation streams of what we are vanish.
Mm. We're really questioning everything our senses tell us. That's why, the practice of just observing, you observe your sense perceptions and the sensations in the body, but you don't judge, is key. Because as soon as you interpret those sensations and you create a meaning and a reality out of them, then the ego's in business. It's made it real in your mind, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's pointing us out of the very limited awareness and judgments of the ego to the loving awareness, the body's witnesses before the rapture of Christ's holy face. Where are we? Number
7.
Yeah, so number 8. I'll just I'll read this in the original, you read in the alternative. So let him be judge of what you are. He has certainty in which there is no doubt, because it rests on certainty so great that doubt is meaningless before its face.
I let it be judge of what I am, for it has certainty in which there is no doubt, because it rests on certainty so great that doubt is meaningless in its presence.
Christ cannot doubt himself.
My true self cannot doubt itself.
And the voice for God can only honor him, rejoicing in his perfect, everlasting sinlessness.
The voice for perfect loving awareness can only honor myself, rejoicing in its perfect, everlasting innocence.
Whom he has judged can only laugh at guilt, unwilling now to play with toys of sin, unheeding of the body's witnesses before the rapture of Christ's holy face.
Those who have listened to its judgment can only laugh at guilt, unwilling now to play with the toys of sin and ignoring the body's witnesses in favor of the bliss of their true and complete identity.
Okay, and then read it from the top in the alternative.
I let it be judge of what I am, for it has certainty in which there is no doubt, because it rests on certainty so great that doubt is meaningless in its presence. My true self cannot doubt itself. The voice for perfect loving awareness can only honor myself, rejoicing in its perfect everlasting innocence. Those who have listened to its judgment can only laugh at guilt, unwilling now to play with the toys of sin and ignoring the body's witnesses in favor of the bliss of their true and complete identity. So it's just now saying, let us be the judge of who we really are. And there's no doubt. And our true self cannot doubt itself, unlike the separate self. So it can only honor and rejoice in its innocence and perfection. And those who have listened to its judgment can only laugh at the guilt and the toys of sin it's played with, and be in favor of the bliss of their true and complete identity.
Ignoring the body's witnesses which are things like sickness, aging, suffering, to transcend all that and go within and find, the rapture of Christ's holy face is this bliss of your true self that we've been called to experience. And we talked about yesterday, in the text, the holy aware moment, the moment where you come into this awareness and you transcend the body's limits. You have this mystic, or as Abraham has it called, peak experience. He's referring to that again. The rapture of Christ's holy face would be a peak experience, a mystic experience. Okay, so let's go on to number 9. Again, I'll read that in the original. You read the alternative. And thus he judges you.
And so the remembrance of perfect love judges me.
Accept his word for what you are, for he bears witness to your beautiful creation and the mind whose thoughts created your reality.
I accept its message about what I am, for it testifies to my beautiful being and the awareness whose thought gave me reality.
Gave me my reality.
Gave me my reality.
What can the body mean to him who knows the glory of the Father and the Son?
What can the body mean to it that knows the magnificence of the source and its extension?
Yeah, he's referring to the Holy Spirit here. Remember you said to this remembrance. What whispers of the ego can he hear?
What whispers of the belief in separation can it hear?
What could convince him that your sins are real?
What could convince it that my sins are real?
Let him be judge as well of everything that seems to happen to you in this world.
I will also let it be judge of everything that seems to happen to me in this world.
His lessons will enable you to bridge the gap between illusions and the truth.
Its lessons will enable me to bridge the gap between illusions and the truth.
And then from the top, in the alternative.
Yeah. And so the remembrance of perfect love judges me. I accept its message about what I am, for it testifies to my beautiful being and the awareness whose thought gave me reality. What can the body mean to this remembrance that knows the magnificence of the source and its extension? What whispers of the belief in separation can hear it? What could convince it that my sins are real? I will also let it be judge of everything that seems to happen to me in this world. Its lessons will enable me to bridge the gap between illusions and the truth.
Okay, thoughts on that?
Well, if we come from the remembrance of perfect love state of mind, then it'll testify, a beautiful being, and it can't hear any of the sins and of the separate self. And you allow this to be the judge of the world. So it enables us to bridge the gap between illusions and the truth. So putting ourselves in the state of remembrance of perfect love.
Just don't believe the ego. Don't believe its interpretations.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
Mhm.
Okay, so he will remove all faith that you place in pain,
It will,
disaster, suffering, loss.
also, it will remove all faith that I have placed in pain, disaster, suffering, and loss.
He gives you vision, which can look beyond these grim appearances and can behold the gentle face of Christ in all of them.
It gives me vision which can look beyond these grim appearances and can behold the gentle face of my true self in all of them.
You'll no longer doubt that only good can come to you who are beloved of God, for he will judge all happenings and teach the single lesson that they all contain.
I will no longer doubt that only good can come to me, who I am one with the perfect loving awareness, for it will judge all my experiences and teach the single lesson that they all contain.
Okay, and then on the top.
It will remove all faith that I have placed in pain, disaster, suffering, and loss. It gives me vision which can look beyond these grim appearances and can behold the gentle face of my true self in all of them. I will no longer doubt that only good can come to me, who am one with perfect loving awareness, for it will judge all my experiences and teach the single lesson that they all contain.
Okay, thoughts on that?
It's just asking us to remove all our faith we've got in disaster, pain, suffering, and loss, and give our vision to the true self. And there'll be no doubts, only good. And it will judge all my experiences and teach the single lesson that they all contain, which is perfect loving awareness. And just, yeah, no
So
suffering.
only good can come to me. And a lot of people say, well, hang on, there's still, difficulties and challenges and sometimes even catastrophes and disasters. How can you say only good can come to me? But it's your perception of it. See? So if you perceive it correctly, it's only good because it's helping you to let go of your ego and it's helping you free your mind, no matter what it is. So cat peeing on the cushion or anything that triggers you is good because it's another opportunity to let go of the ego's thought system and free your mind. And then you live in a world where, it's only good can come to you because of the way you perceive it.
Mm.
Not because of what happens externally. A lot of people misunderstand that. They go, well, this is just, you're in la la land. Like only good can come to you. That's just not how life works.
Mm.
But he's talking about the shift in your perception. If I perceive everything in this world correctly, then I can perceive it this way because I reinterpret the so-called bad things into helpful things that are actually good. Because all of them are teaching me the single lesson of pure formless awareness of perfect love, this perfect loving awareness, and they're teaching me to have that awareness, to identify with that awareness as my own awareness. All my experience is designed to do that. So all good, only good. If I perceive everything correctly, it's all helping me to attain this perfect loving awareness in which I'm perfectly happy, peaceful, joyful, and even blissful for all of eternity. And number 11. Let me just read that one. We'll just read reading the alternative.
It will select the elements in them which represent the truth and disregard those aspects which reflect only false dreams, and it will reinterpret everything I perceive, all events, circumstance, and every happening that seems to touch on me in any way from its one frame of reference, wholly unified and sure, and I will perceive the love beyond the hate, the constancy in change, the pure in sin, and only the blessing of pure formless awareness on the world. So it's just saying it's going to select the elements that represent the truth and just disregard what reflects the false dreams. And it'll just be reinterpreted. So we'll now start to see the love beyond the hate and so forth, the pure in the sin, and only the blessing of pure formless awareness in the world. That's the idea, to start seeing through those eyes.
That's the only way. You're ever gonna find peace in this world, because what happens on the level of form, you see a lot of the ego. It's the ego's world. You see the pain and the suffering and the sickness and the misery and the attack and the conflict and the death everywhere, if you want to. So you have to change your perception of all of it. That's the only way out of this nightmare of misperceptions. Okay, such is your resurrection, for your life is not a part of anything you see.
Such is my awakening, for my life is not part of anything I perceive.
It stands beyond the body and the world, past every witness for unholiness, within the holy, holy as itself.
It stands beyond the body and the world, past every witness for negative awareness, within the pure formless awareness, which is as wholly aware as itself.
In everyone and everything, his voice would speak to you of nothing but yourself and your creator, who is one with him.
In everyone and everything, its voice wants to speak to me only of myself and my source, which is one with it.
Let's change that. Let's see why I put it at the beginning. Maybe just leave it there. Everyone and everything. Just say I perceive. Everyone and everything I perceive, its voice wants to speak to me, only of myself and my source, which is one with it. Okay, where are we? Number 4. So you will see the holy face of Christ in everything, and hear in everything no sound except the echo of God's voice. Number 4, Elaine?
Yeah, oh, sorry, I'm just quickly, because the 2 dogs are desperate for some food. So I'm just sort of trying to do 2 jobs at once here. Where are we?
Number 4. So I will see the identity of my true self.
Yeah. And so I will see the identity of my true self in everything, and hear in everything no sound except the echo of perfect love's voice.
Okay, and just read it from the top, number 12, and then we'll do a meditation.
Yeah.
Going into all this.
Such is my awakening, for my life is not a part of anything I perceive. It stands beyond the body and the world, past every witness for negative awareness, within pure formless awareness, which is as wholly aware as itself. In everyone and everything I perceive, its voice wants to speak to me only of myself and my source, which is one with it. And so I will see the identity of my true self in everything, and hear everything, no sound except the echo of perfect love's voice.
Okay.
Was just saying that, yeah, this awakening is everything that we want. It stands beyond the body and the world, past all the negative, the witnesses of the negative, and within this formless awareness, this is the wholly aware, which is our wholly aware as itself. And everyone and everything I perceive, its voice wants to speak from this self and our source, which is one with it. So we will start to see the identity of our true self in everything, and hear everything except the sound of perfect love's voice.
Yeah, and this is the awakened state, the enlightened state of being that people have attained. People like Yeshua, the Buddha. Yeah, they see the divine in everything. They see the holy. They're in this transcendent state of awareness. And bring that into everything that they perceive. Because it's the ground of being. It's what underlies everything. Everything is ultimately rests in this awareness. Without that fundamental awareness, you can call it life, the essence of life, or presence, being. Without that, nothing would exist. It has to have that fundamental awareness in order to exist at all. So if you can just see that awareness, the very essence of life, and not the distortion of that awareness, not the ego's distorted awareness that's twisted that into some other awareness. Even though the ego, continues on the level of form, you don't perceive it because your mind is so tuned to this fundamental awareness that nothing else matters. That's really what we're trying to do with all the mind training. Train your mind to perceive only this true awareness and just overlook the negative awareness that obscures it. Okay, so to that end, shall we do a meditation on the lesson?
Yeah.
Just to close it off. So this is a meditation on today's workbook lesson 151. So just sitting comfortably, your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight, and cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. And just repeat today's idea very slowly to yourself. So all things are echoes of the voice for God, you prefer the alternative version, everything echoes the voice for perfect loving awareness. Say that again. Everything echoes the voice for perfect loving awareness. Exhale the truth of that, just blowing out any negative thoughts that seem to diminish or sabotage this awareness. And rest in this deeper awareness, perfect loving awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love. The words don't really matter as much as the feeling. So watch your thoughts, any thoughts coming and going, and feel silently to this awareness, which perceives the elements of truth in them. Let it evaluate each thought that comes to mind. Remove the false elements of dreams. So any negative thoughts and emotions like fear, anger, attack, jealousy, ranging up to rage, or false elements of dreams. And then let it give them back again, these thoughts, these true ideas. That do not contradict pure formless awareness of perfect love. And give them your thoughts. Give this awareness your thoughts. So I give it my thoughts. Breathing in and out through the nose, just to create a nice, deep, slow, rhythmical pattern. So I'll give it my thoughts and I'll give them back as corrections, which joyously proclaim the wholeness and the happiness. As each thought is transformed in this way, it takes on healing power from the awareness which perceives the truth in it, is not deceived by what was falsely added. And the threads of fantasy are gone. And desires, your fears, it's all fantasy. What remains is unified. Into perfect awareness. That offers its perfection everywhere. Misha says, mystery begins as all thoughts are purified. When we can fail to listen, we hear the voice for God, the voice for perfect loving awareness, honor its extension. And everyone will share the thoughts with you, which it is reinterpreted in your mind. So as you think these thoughts and you connect deeply with His presence, so you allow others to do that. Such as your Eastertide suggestion, such as your time of awakening. So I give the gift of innocent perception to the world, placing witnesses to sin and death. Through my transformation, the world is redeemed and joyfully released from guilt. Now I lift my awakened mind in gladness and gratitude into pure formless awareness of perfect love that has restored my sanity to me. And sink inwards, go deeper and deeper with each breath, observing the breath and letting it take you down, sink down into this awareness. It's really not something you have to try hard to achieve or accomplish. So just breathe in and out through your nose, relax, and be still. When thoughts come up, just remind yourself today's lesson that everything echoes the voice for perfect loving awareness. That is its only truth, its only reality, and exhale out whatever else seems to be covering that over. Just blow it away like the breeze in your breath. And sink inwards to this perfect loving awareness. Give yourself the gift of a couple of minutes of deep connected silence, where you just go into this awareness quite deeply and wholly and completely. The next 2 minutes of deep, blissful silence. So just gently coming back from this deep state, pure formless awareness, perfect loving awareness, whatever you want to call it. And you bring some awareness back into the body and the breath and the senses and the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pause at the top of the inhale. Okay, and scan your mind, notice any thoughts, emotions, related body sensations going on. If there's anything that seems to be at all negative or limiting, contracted or constricting in any way, shape or form, remind yourself that everything echoes the voice of God, or perfect loving awareness. So underlying this misperception is a deeper awareness of truth, which is just this fundamental loving awareness, which is in my mind right now. Feel it in your mind and your heart. Breathe it into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the light of this true awareness. Feel it, connect with it deeply, and then as you exhale, have a sense of extending it outward. It's going into the mind or the quantum field, the morphic field, as Russell calls it. The mind of humanity, which is shared, and you're extending this awareness outward to others. So feel that extension happening through you. Exhale. Feel the energy flowing down the front channel of your body from the crown of your head, dropping your awareness and your energy down into the lower stomach, your groin, your buttocks. Feel the weight of your body on the count of 2, pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground, noticing what you're feeling with your hands, touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, a smell in your nose, and notice what you are hearing in the surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things from this very still, calm, and surrendered state. State of mind without illusions, which only the truth is true. So just anchor the state in, feel it, set the intention to stay here in this awakened state. God goes with you wherever you go. Because God is in your mind. That's lesson 30 of the workbook. Just remind yourself of that. This awareness is with you wherever you go. God is in your mind. So on the count of 2, just notice your other senses. So breathing in again, noticing what you're smelling as you do that. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth. Notice that. Notice what you're hearing, what you're touching, your hands, what you're feeling. There's a subtle flow of air on your skin. Notice that. Just noticing all these things in this very still, calm, and surrendered state. Staying in mind without illusions. Only the truth is true. Anchor this state in. Find yourself in this awareness is echoed in everything. All things, everything is echoed. An echo of this loving awareness, and you can perceive that and experience that in every situation, every interaction that you have with anyone this evening and on into tomorrow. So it is said and so it is done. So now on the count of 3, open your eyes. Just take a minute to look around. Noticing what's in the room around you. In this very calm, objective, unattached way. Don't have to name it or judge it or label it. Just notice it. Notice how peaceful, calm you feel. And then move on to something else. Notice the same peace, the same underlying awareness, this perfect loving awareness we talked about in the lesson is there underlying all of your sense perceptions. Notice that, feel that, experience that in your own experience. And this is what it means to live these teachings, to live the course, to know this awareness experientially. And it comes into your experience through all of your perceptions. So if you need to top yourself up, practice the lesson again. Yeshua reminds you to do that frequently. He says, that we can do this frequently through the day. We'll hourly remember him who is salvation and deliverance. I'll remember this awareness that is awakening and freedom every hour. As I give thanks, the world will unite with me and happily accept my holy aware thoughts, which the state of pure formless awareness has corrected and made pure. Say to yourself, now my true function has begun at last, to carry around the world the joyous news that truth is no illusions, and through me, the peace of perfect loving awareness belongs to everyone. I have a sense of extending this awareness out to everyone you can think of, people in your own life, your family, friends, anyone who comes to mind. Have a sense of extending this loving awareness out to them because it belongs to them. And don't stop there, just extend it out to everyone, the entire entirety of humanity. Is blessed in this awareness, the peace of perfect loving awareness that comes through you into the world. This is your only true function in this world. This is why you're here. Feel that peace and that power of purpose, true purpose, finally, a worthy purpose for your life. Feel that connect with that. And then go on with your day in this hopefully very expanded state of loving awareness, and let that guide you in all of your thoughts, words, and actions, which is what it means to be in a flow state. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the meditation and of today's session. All right, thanks, Elaine.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so tomorrow I was going to do an evening session. I think you're up to 3, but I don't mind if you do an extra one. I'll tell you why, because I'm going to go away to John for a holiday, so I'm probably going to do only 1 session that week. So just take a couple of extra now,
Okay.
if you
Yeah.
don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just let me have a bit of a break, because I can't run sessions. That's the agreement with Deborah. So I'm not going on holiday if you're going to be running sessions. So
Okay,
so
so
yeah, so join tomorrow evening if you can. 6:30.
oh, yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's good.
All right. See you
Okay,
tomorrow then.
see you then. Okay,
30.
bye.
All right.
Namaste. Bye.
Namaste. Bye. All right. So thanks to Elaine and John earlier for joining the session. Good session. If you enjoyed that, then do subscribe to the channel. You'll be notified whenever I go live, which is 3 or 4 times a week. And you can get notified by YouTube of the live streams. If you liked some of the content I shared and you'd like to be sent that daily, then head over to lifebuild.com and see the spelling of that in the background of my screen. Just add a .com onto that, and there you can sign up to receive a daily Telegram message, which will include the daily quote I shared at the beginning of the session, some commentary on that, the daily lesson, workbook lesson from A Course in Miracles translated into alternative language, along with a short mini meditation or breath break to help you to practice it. And you'll be notified in those Telegram messages of when I'm going live, and be sent the Zoom link to be able to join us in the Zoom room, which you're most welcome to do. So check it out, lifebuild.com. Just head over, put in your name and your mobile number for Telegram. You'll need to download Telegram if you don't have it. And yeah, you'll be hearing from me every day. I hope to meet you on the inside soon. So thank you for watching or listening, and namaste, which means the true awakened self in me, the Christ self in me, acknowledges and honors that true awakened Christ self in you. Wishing much love, peace, and joy in that